This is the Mortgage Breakdown, where Andy Baker and Andrew Clarkson break down everything mortgage.
Welcome, everybody, to episode
4.
Episode 4 of the
104.
Mortgage Breakdown. Oh, we made it.
Yeah.
We made it back at Sun Title here.
Yeah, I know, right?
In Grand Rapids. Sun Title. Thank you for our friends over at Sun Title. So today's episode, Andy, we are talking about mindset.
Sure, yeah.
This is a topic that I think about every single day I wake up.
Right.
You know, because even before when I go to bed, I'm like, I gotta make that conscious decision in the morning that when my feet hit the floor, that it's my decision to, like, whatever happens today. And I feel like a lot of it is guided through the perception of my reality, right?
Oh, yeah, exactly. I mean, again, to go back to, why we talk about why we started this podcast, it was making that conscious, deliberate effort to create mortgage content. And it's that same thing. No matter what you're doing, you have to have that deliberate mindset, that openness, that willing to learn, willing to engage type thing where I'm going to do something today.
Sure, yeah. I had a manager early on in my career, and he was always, if he could tell if something was off that day, and he would say, hey, you just need a checkup from the neck up.
Right.
And that was like his key phrase. And anytime that he said that phrase, I thought to myself, he's absolutely right. This is an internal thing that I'm dealing with, and it's my choice whether I move forward and, whether it was business or just a general outlook,
Right,
exactly. It always comes down to that, right?
Yep. Yeah, and we'll talk about some different types of things or mindsets later, but it's the same kind of thing. I also had a manager, and he would always say, you'd be amazed how much you can accomplish if you can get out of your own way for 5 minutes.
Oh, so true.
And it's just so much of that, again, it's different types of mindsets, but, like you can be an overplanner, you can be an overthinker, if you until you're ready to execute, or you start being a naysayer, negative talk, and all that kind of things, it just builds up in front of yourself. And if you just push all that stuff aside and focus on what you want to do, you can accomplish anything. I mean, it's cheesy, but it's true.
It's so true. And people, I feel like people say it's cheesy or something like that because it's like a fallback thing, right?
Sure,
we
yeah.
all know it's true,
right?
But are we going to want to do the work?
Right.
Do we want to think about it crystal clear and put it in? Are there any things that you typically do throughout the day or the beginning of the day, end of the day to refocus, or like what? Do you have any things you do?
I'm a list guy. I always create lists. My to-do list, I write one at the beginning of the day, and then I follow it up and I actually rewrite it for the next day. And then, overnight when I'm thinking about everything that's when I tweak it again in the morning, kind of a thing. So
Yep.
It's just that keeping that, consistency and being deliberate about it. Again, knowing what you want to do and marking those things off.
That's a really good method. I know a lot of people that I work with that use that same exact thing too, right? They do their lists at the end of the day typically. So when they go in the morning, they know exactly, where they're going to start and some things that need either attention or whatever it is. Maybe a list of stuff that they need to do it could be not even business related, family related.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Picking the kids up from school at the end of the day, just putting that on a list and making you feel like you accomplished something. Right. I have a colleague that I work with, and she puts down 2 to 3 items on her list, and she's already done them. So when she gets in the morning, she can go cross off. Yeah. I'm done, with 2 things. Yeah. So
I'm definitely a Todd Duncan guy too. I'm a time blocker. Todd Duncan's talked about this for years too. And again, you brought up a good point of, it's not just always business stuff that we're talking about here. It can be any kind of, personal life goals that you want to achieve, but making sure that you're setting aside that time and then sticking to it too. So many of these loan officers are like, oh yeah, I tell realtors, I'll take calls, any time of the day, Saturday at 9 p.m. No, I don't want to take calls at Saturday at 9 p.m. I'm blocking off that time for me, kind of a thing. You know what I'm saying? And that's just it. If you stick to it and people will start to respect it, you'll just be amazed at how much more, it's like, I think you actually put this on LinkedIn, Andrew, that, if you run your day and don't let your day run you,
yes,
how much more you can accomplish.
I absolutely love that, because I know people in this business, that are, originating mortgages, and even, people that are underwriters and processors. It's like, some of them go into it and they might have like really good technology that shows you like, hey, okay, work on this file next, then work on this file next. That's great if your company has that. But if you don't have that, you go into your day and it's kind of like reacting instead of like driving business and making decisions. I'm going to tackle this first, then I'm going to tackle that next. So I think if you control your day, and that's exactly one of the best ways to do it, time blocking, making a list, going into it with crystal clear thought. What I do every morning is I set aside 10 minutes just for myself, and I just, you can call it meditation, you can call it, thought activity, whatever it is, but I set aside 10 minutes and that's just my time where I can, think about my day. I can think about what I want to do, and it's my time to get caught up, and really think about my day before it unfolds.
Exactly. Yeah. And again, it's said in many different ways, but it's basically, like, it's so easy to get caught up in our work instead of like caught up in your business instead of working on your business. Are you working in your business or you're working on your business? And it's crucial to have that time either daily, hopefully, at least weekly, where you're going to set aside some time and say, okay, what am I doing to advance myself to the next level, or my, sales to the next level, or even, like you said, as an operations person, like I like to block off time to, read articles, definitely catch up on any kind of, guideline changes, things like that, anything that's coming down the road, that's just so that I'm aware of it, so that makes me a better manager to help prepare my staff for that type of change as well.
You mentioned it, and I think you're exactly right. When you go into your day, it's one thing to time block and have your list and stuff, but to have your routine, and like even when it comes down to like news feeds, like news sources, which what are you reading for the day? Where's like your national news you're reading, your local news, your mortgage industry news? One of my favorite things to do is I read Elliot Eisenberg's Econ 70, right? 70 words or less. He talks about the economy. I love to read that, give that a little bit of thought, and then I read Rob Christman's report, every day that it comes through, and now I know that I'm caught up on the mortgage business. Exactly. Let's get into. I pulled an article from Harvard Business Review, okay, and they talk about different styles, different mindsets. The first ones that they bring up are growth and fixed mindsets. I'm just going to read this little excerpt, and we can talk about it, but. Say, a growth mindset is belief that people, including oneself, can change their talents, abilities, and intelligence. Conversely, those with a fixed mindset do not believe that people can change their talents, abilities, and intelligence. Decades of research have found that those with a growth mindset are more mentally primed to approach and take on challenges, take advantage of feedback, and adopt most effective problem-solving strategies, provide developmental feedback to subordinates, and be effortful and persistent in seeking to accomplish goals. So what is that growth, mindset? When we're talking about you taking on challenges, take advantage of feedback, adopt most effective problem solving. Would you put yourself in the growth style mindset?
I would like to say that I am. Definitely. We've had our days, everybody has them, where you feel like, this is how it's always going to be kind of a thing. But I think even like the best companies will tell you like, things are good right now, but it could always be better. And again, you don't want to rest on your laurels to say like, well, this is it. We're good, because all of a sudden before you're not, because you haven't been keeping up. You haven't been in that growth mode. And again, it doesn't necessarily mean like taking your business, from 20 million to 30 million, which again, that's the thought though, that I can do it. I can keep, learning. I can do better. I can, take criticism. I can change my things. I can adapt. But it also is just, that constant thought of, we always have to be looking to get better.
Yeah. I would say as like originators too, the growth mindset seems like it fits pretty well, right? Because it makes me think of an originator where they just came off of 2019. They had a fantastic year. Right. They're going in 2020 and they're like, okay, what am I going to do? How am I going to get this bigger than 2019? It's impossible. But that growth, it's looking to expand on that previous year. And then it reminds me of like company goals, right? Because you have a fantastic year. The company's not going to say, okay, guys, we're going to peel back 20% now. You're never going to hear that. Right. They're going to say, okay, how do we get this 10% higher than where we're 5x number percent higher than where we are, right?
Yeah, and I think your good originators too will start to think of that in not necessarily, how can I get better because of the fact like things like rates and, the economy, the things that I can't change, I don't want them to affect my business. If rates go through the roof, I don't want to start sitting around going, oh crap, I don't have any loans. I want to be in that growth mode and in that thought process of no matter what rates are or what the economy is doing, I can still grow my business. I can still improve on what I've been doing year after year after year.
Totally.
And the good ones do it.
Yep. So let's go on to the next one. The next one that the Harvard Business Review breaks down is learning and performance mindsets. And I'll go ahead and read the excerpt again here. So a learning mindset involves being motivated toward increasing one's competence and mastering something new. A performance mindset involves being motivated toward gaining favorable judgments or avoiding negative judgments about one's competence. Leaders with a learning mindset compared to those with a performance mindset are more mentally primed to increase their competence, engage in deep level learning strategies, seek out feedback, and exert more of an effort.
Yeah. So where do you see yourself?
You know what? Well, I mean, I would say that I'm in that that learning mindset. I love being motivated. I think the motivation factor, for me personally, is what really kicks in. I do what I do, in the mortgage industry right now because I love to see the development of others.
Right,
and I love to see somebody come in to the business brand new, or even if they've been, with a previous lender that just didn't support them and their business, suffered as a result of it, they come in and just seeing their growth and where they grow from there, I love it. I just love seeing that.
Yeah, definitely.
How about yourself?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I understand where they're coming from on this part. For me personally, though, too, like I know I'm competitive. I know I like to see that, that tally mark at the end of the day, that I hit the highest, type of thing. But, I definitely understand it too, where, that, you want to be motivated into, again, challenging yourself, taking on something new. Like, I know I'm not going to be, the greatest at something, but I want to try it. I want to try something new. I want to learn something new. And hopefully eventually as I, continue to learn that, I get better and better at it type
Absolutely.
of thing.
Yeah. I would say with the learning mindset with you that I think you're the same type of, cut from the same cloth as well. You like to see the motivation in others and kind of feed off.
Oh, yeah. I would definitely see someone that I'm coaching or mentoring up on stage getting something rather than myself,
Right, yeah.
It's just that much more of a reward for me.
That's a true leadership quality right there. The last mindsets here from the Harvard Business Review, promotion and prevention mindsets. So leaders with a promotion mindset are focused on winning and gains. They identify a specific purpose, goal, or destination and prioritize making progress toward it. Leaders with a prevention mindset, however, are focused on avoiding losses and preventing problems at all costs. Right. Research has found that those with a promotion mindset are more prone to positive thinking, more open to change, more likely to persist despite challenges and setbacks, and demonstrate higher levels of task performance and innovative behaviors compared to leaders with a prevention mindset. So I know what they're talking about with the prevention mindset because I've seen it. I've seen people, that might have gone through like a roller coaster of a month, and it was like a really high, but then they got a really low in 2 weeks and nothing's, been happening. And then they kind of coil up. And it's like every single calculated move, they're like, I don't want to make a mistake. I don't want to make a mistake.
Exactly.
So it's like they trap themselves inside this box and they're not doing the activities at the beginning of the month that made them rise to that high.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, I see it all the time on the operation side, especially, you go through an audit, and we've all had, just the hammer down audits, where they just tear you apart. And,
Sure.
and again, you come out of there thinking like, it's duck and cover mode. I don't want
Sure.
to do anything. Well, I mean, making loans is in a risk and having that mindset of, can I do this in good effort, and be smart about it, but yet still like continue to, promote and grow and try new things again. It's just that mindset. I think, all these kind of feed into the same thing of, are you open to new challenges and trying new things and, pushing yourself versus the, closed-minded, this is what I am, and I don't want to, step outside my box because I might make a mistake and might get my hand slapped kind of thing. And, you just, it's just being that open to the challenge of the day kind of thing.
I love that. Andy, let's wrap it up here. Sure. Give me, in talking about, we mentioned it at the beginning of the episode, what you do in a day. What would be your one thing? If someone's watching this right now, they're like, okay, let me take one thing away from this whole thing. What would it be? Would it be a task or related, or?
Not necessarily that. I think really, it boils down to, and I go over this with processors all the time. I tell them it's their desk. Run your desk. Don't let your desk run you. Don't let all the distractions of the world come at you and take you hostage and monopolize your time. You can get to things. Don't ignore people, but get to things. But work it out and have time for you and set that time and make sure that you're using that time to the best of your ability.
Great advice. And I would say that my one thing would be, I love your thing. I think it would also be if you don't give yourself 10 minutes in a day, do one of two things. When you wake up, give yourself 10 minutes, crystal clear thought of how your day is going to unfold, or at the end of the day, 10 minutes to yourself. Think about your challenges and your victories from that day. And if you rack today up as a win or a loss, how are you going to make tomorrow a win?
Right. Exactly.
One of those two.
Perfect.
Well, that's all we got today for everybody. This is the Mortgage Breakdown. Please comment, like this video. If there's a topic that you want or interested in, want to see, please let us know. Comment on there, let us know. If you're watching this video, there's also a podcast anywhere you can access podcasts. Mortgage Breakdown. Andy?
No, again, thank you for everyone that's been supporting this over the last couple of weeks. We've really been encouraged with all the feedback, so please keep it up. And, again, if you have any topics you want us to talk about, feel free to email us or shoot us a message or leave a comment. Thanks, guys.
Mortgage Breakdown, everybody.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode. Tune in for more breakdowns.